sorry. This is the part two. Please comment, like, subscribe, share if you feel, somebody else can benefit from this video. Um, so I was saying I don't like the term baby daddy, baby mama, but if the shoe fits, it's gonna, you gotta wear it. Um, but he was, putting black magic on me. And not even just that, but he was just against me for everything. Like I said, I have these, um, you know, I'm into cooking. I started like a chocolate business. I started a digital products business. Um, and there was no encouragement. It was always resistance, resistance, resistance. And I'm like, I'm not even doing this for just myself. I'm doing it for our family to generate income, you know? But learning all that he has done to me, I don't agree with it, but it makes sense on why my soul's purpose, my life calling, my passion was put on hold, all the obstacles that I went through, because sometimes you're just sleeping next to the enemy. And ladies, these fellas can really be jealous of us, and it sucks because they have a lot of parental issues, mommy issues, um, and even if it's not that, a lot of people don't want to heal. A lot of people really don't want to look at themselves and be like, okay, you know, your shit stinks and you need to clean it up. A lot of people don't want to do that, but there's you and I who is like, okay, my life isn't going the way I want it. I know I deserve better. I can achieve much more than what I have right now. What obstacles are blocking me? Who's blocking me? And it hurts, especially the person that you created a family with, or your own family, your siblings, your cousins. Like I had a cousin who we were supposed to start a podcast with each other. I'm still doing the podcast. I even look right here, YouTube. I'm still doing it without, my cousin. And that kind of pushed me back because I'm one of those who I want everybody to eat. Everybody to eat. A lot of people in my karmic familiar unit are talented, So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, you know, you got this skill, you have this talent, X, Y, and Z, bada bing, bada boom. If we come together, we can make an empire. And it doesn't even have to be me teaming up with them, financially. And please don't look at it like, I'm a bank, because I'm not, I'm not. God has me right now. In the future, I will be able to, though, and if you still need assistance, I'm here. I can help you. There's free resources. Always start with what you can, what you have, in your arsenal, and work your way up, you know. So I say that to say, even if they didn't want to team up with me, like us doing it together, that's fine. I could have been a financial, um, a sponsor. Thank you. I could have been a sponsor, you know, or I could have just helped you get your business off the ground, your idea off the ground. I don't look for anything in return. The only thing I may ask for is just say thank you. Manners are free. Manners are free. It costs nothing. Just like support is free. Liking this post, this video, liking somebody's post, sharing somebody's post. If you know that your friend or your family that you say you care for has started a business, just put it out there. But a lot of people don't want to do that because they look at it as, well, what am I going to gain from that? I'm not going to gain anything from that. And why do you always have to do something to benefit from it? Why can't you just do something because it's right, But a lot of people's heart is upside down and it's not right side up, and it sucks. But you know, those who are genuine, those who walk with the Lord, and even if you don't walk with God, you just still have common sense and human decency, that it's like, okay, it doesn't hurt to support somebody, you know again, free free support, just showing up for somebody, just sitting there saying, okay, for example, say you want to start like a car detailing business, or you want to start a jewelry business or whatever, but you haven't started it yet, it hasn't got off the ground, you're like in the research stage. Nothing's wrong with me, friends, family, hey, I just read this article, or I see this article. I didn't read it, but I'm passing it to you because I know that that's your career. That's something that you're passionate about. We all have laptops, cell phones, tablets, TVs, whatever the case may be, that I may not see what's in your algorithm, but it may come across yours and it may benefit me. So, um, you know, I just want all of us to win. And we're not winning by making these corporations bigger and they don't care about us. You can't even ask for a day off. Or if you do, there's backlash. They're deducting hours because you took a day off. Or, or there's people who haven't been on vacation in a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years because the demands of the job is so high. Well, let's look at it. If you have credentials, if you have any licenses, certificates, whatever, you've just built up your accolades. You've built up your portfolio. Now, what can you take from that and put it into your own business? And I just want to say, because I know a lot of people don't want to start their own business, and that's okay. Now, if you don't want to start your own business, now look at it this way. What about teaming up with somebody? So, for example, me, I went to a vocational school, a trade school, when I was in high school many years ago, and I took accounting and office administration. And my teacher, she ended up teaming up with the business management teachers. So now you have office technology, accounting, and business management. Although I didn't graduate high school, I did get my GED. That was another thing that my baby father was against. Oh my goodness. It got to a point that I didn't even tell him when I booked the test. I didn't let him know when I was studying, when he was at work, or when everybody else was sleeping, I was studying, because that's how bad it got. That's how bad it got. And again, for, platonic or romantic relationship, I want everybody to win. You know, yes, of course, I'm gonna make sure that I have my shit in order, but if I rock with you, I rock with you. I don't want to rise up and then you be down. No. So I say that to say, even if you don't want to start your own business, but you have the wisdom, you have the knowledge of, let's say, a secretary, or you're somebody who was in automotive, or somebody who's in HVAC, somebody who's in cabinetry, somebody who's in nursing, somebody who's in cosmetology, whatever the case may be, culinary. You may not want to start your own business, but there's somebody out there that needs your service. So even if it's you doing freelance work online, or even part-time, helping, just don't sell yourself short. Or you teaming up with somebody. So like, I'll go back to my credentials and stuff. I have accounting. I know how to do QuickBooks. Now, QuickBooks is different from 16 years ago when I was in high school, but I'm a quick learner, and it's just, additions to the QuickBooks program and stuff like that. I've actually downloaded it um, last year, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, this is easy. I can do this in my sleep. But not everybody can. But let's just say, especially like the mothers who they stay home from work, like the husband goes out to work, they stay home from work, or they get like the mother hours at grocery stores, or do little hours just to bring in an income. If you used to work at a corporate setting, but you know how to manage books, why don't you look out there and offer your services? Every day there's a business that's starting up that's going to need your service, whether it's online or in the physical. So now, cosmetology. Let's just kind of bring it all in. And I kind of went off on my script, but I'll get back on track. Um, let's bring in cosmetology. Okay, so now any type of business, you know that you're gonna have to go out there to the public, whether online or in person, and your appearance is gonna have to be up. So now, let's say you have a niece or a nephew who's in school or wants to do cosmetology. Well, let's kill two birds with one stone. I need your service. I need the cosmetology aspect to keep myself looking right, or at least for this photo shoot, I need somebody, a hairstylist or a stylist, even though that's not cosmetology, but a stylist, wardrobe and stuff like that. So I need you, and then they need you because they need to build up their portfolio. They need to build up their clientele. Why can't that person help you out? Now, of course, if they're, if they're not that skilled or they have some shanky work and stuff, then that's one thing, because your appearance is everything. You don't want somebody dyeing your hair who's new to it, but they don't know about that. And I don't want to speak on that, but they don't know, of bleaching and highlights and stuff like that. Okay, you may not want somebody playing in your hair, or, you know, um, you know, uh, not anesthesia, but the ones who do the face and stuff like that. You may not want somebody waxing your eyebrows who's fairly new to it. But there's some people who are new to it and they're true to it. It's just in their DNA. They pick up quick, they learn really fast, whatever the case may be. HVAC, you know, even though I'm online, I still may need somebody in my apartment, my house when I get it, to come and do HVAC services. So why not help them out? There's going to be somebody in automotive who I may not want you to touch my transmission, do my engine, or mess with my coils and all that stuff. But I have no problem with letting you maybe do an oil change, because that's just a filter drain and re-putting it in, so on and so forth. Well, it's not that easy, depending on the car. But I may let you change my tire, or I may let you do that, do that oil change. Or somebody who's into cars who likes tinting, I may let you practice on my old car that's just sitting in the yard or whatever, but we all can help each other. Barter, exchange of services for another. And it doesn't always have to be financial, but just the expertise of it. We have elders who are now going into retirement age, but they don't want to be at home going stir crazy. So that wisdom and the knowledge that they have to keep them up on their toes, why don't you have them team up with you? Hey, I can give you a couple of dollars for 5 hours out the day. Or if they want to work 8 hours, but just, 2 days out the week. So they just want to work 16 hours, part-time hours, whatever the case may be. We all have some type of knowledge, some type of expertise, whether we're starting, whether we're, beginners, or we're the vets. But we don't need to keep making these corporations bigger and not being reciprocated financially and appreciated, like back in the day, where they would give you gift cards, they would give you bonuses, and the bonuses weren't included in your check. The bonus was separate. Your manager would come in, and it's not just the pizza party. Like my mom back in the day worked for Singular One, Singular Wireless, AT&T over the time as it changed, and they would take them to Six Flags once a year. The company looked forward to that. We're all coming together as as family. Now, it doesn't mean all of us were going in, even our neighbors. It's not saying that we need to go into each other's household and sit at each other's dinner table and swap social security numbers and stuff like that. But you knew you were valued. You knew you were appreciated. Bosses actually said, hey, thank you for coming in, and working this shift. You didn't have to. You could have been with your family, but thank you. And on the back end, when us, employees feel appreciated by our employers, that gives us that oomph to go above and beyond. Okay, maybe I'll stay an hour late. Maybe I'll do a double shift. Maybe I'll come in on my day off. Maybe I'll come in on the summertime, even though the summertime, is for me and my family. I have no problem coming out and helping, because you appreciated me as a human and your worker. So I'm very big on us becoming self-sufficient. And although I may not care about certain things that he says, but that's one thing that I do agree with the orange president that we have is, although the delivery may not be right in the way how he goes about it, but self-sufficiency, I'd rather build my own empire than make somebody else's empire bigger and better, and they not even know me. These corporations, these owners, they don't even know you. And then your boss, they have all these credentials. They're making 100+ K a year, and they're looking at you as a peasant. But if it wasn't for you, the lower tier, that company would not be running. How many managers are getting 100K a year and they're barely at work? They're just dumping the workload on the bottom tier employees. For what? For what? Healthy relationships, platonic, romantic, work, business, whatever. That's where I want us mentally to be. I have 15 on the timer. The other one had cut off because I had to delete and make some space, but I'll come back to finish this up.